So I think, Steve, is Terry with us, or are you going to take this one?
I am here, Gary.
All right, Terry. So good evening. Why don't you tell us about the already underway voting and the rules and procedures, please?
Okay. So the state of Massachusetts started early voting for the November election 2 weeks ahead of time. So we started on October 22nd, and we will go through November 4th. To date, we've had 128 residents come in and vote early.
The schedule. So what hours are you open, and not this coming Saturday? Is that correct?
Correct. So for the rest of this week, we'll be there Wednesday and Thursday from 10 to 4, Friday from 10 to 12.
All right. And so closed on Saturday and Sunday, correct?
Correct.
Yes. All right. And then in-person voting will be Tuesday, long hours, right?
Yeah, so the polls open at 7 a.m. and they close at 8 p.m.
All right. So, and we'll get the results as we do.
Yep.
Steve, did you want to cover the politicking signs and so forth?
Yeah, so I just want to remind folks that, no signs on public property. And also there is a restriction. Now, Terry, are you familiar with how many feet away from town hall you have to be?
It's 150 feet.
Yeah, so, and if you're gonna be out, advertising with signs, you gotta be a minimum of 150 feet away from town hall, and no signs can be erected on town property.
Very good. And then Terry, so we've had a lot of things with precincts and so forth, but that's all explained and covered when you show up to vote, correct?
It is. As soon as you come to check in, we'll let you know what precinct and where to go from there.
Sounds good.
And the other thing just to add, Gary, is Joe, the new assistant town administrator, did a nice job writing a memo and kind of summarizing, why we split the two precincts and how it affected the election, and who the candidates are for the different precincts and what that meant. So that's up right on the top on the news feed on the cover of on the homepage of the Wenham website.
Sounds great. Diane, Peter, questions, comments?
I don't have any questions. I'm sure you're doing a great job in there.
Just
No.
like over in Manchester by the Sea, right?
It's going smoothly. No sleep.
Yeah.
No comments.
All right. All right, Michelle, next slide then, please.
All right, this is a Veterans Day announcement. So we have a celebration starts at Cheeseman Memorial at Pingree Field, 10:15, 11 a.m. is the Veterans Memorial Ceremony. And then at about noon, refreshments will be at the Wenham Firehouse. And just an additional announcement to December 17th is the Wreaths Across America ceremony and the placement of the wreaths at the Main Street Cemetery in Iron Rail.
And the Wreaths Across America, that's open to everybody to come and help lay, I think it's 500 plus wreaths. So Diane, Peter, anything on this one?
I would just like to say that I'm going to happily miss this event because I'm going to be down in Philadelphia for the wedding of my oldest son.
All right, well, congratulations. Thank you.
Congrats, Pete. That's awesome. Yeah, Wreaths Across America is a great ceremony. Will Bill be leading the ceremony? Bill Wilson?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe so.
So very educational and informative and a nice thing to do.
On everybody's mind and on everybody's lawn. Steve.
Yeah, this is just a reminder for bag leaf collections, November 19th and December 10th. And remember this year, we're not like in the past where they would collect just piles of leaves and suck them up. This year, this year it has to be placed in brown paper lawn bags. Nothing special. Get them at any Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. It's just the big oversized, let's say, grocery paper bag, but it's for leaves. And so, no leaf and sticks and brush left loose if you want to get it picked up.
Thank you.
And I don't know if Harriet. is-
Harry, are you, I think Harriet's with us tonight.
I don't
Nope.
see her. I
Right.
can do it. So this is the annual CPC public hearing is on Wednesday, November 16th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Again, this is really, it's kind of their first kickoff hearing to gain, gather interest of the various
Steve,
projects.
could I interrupt for a moment, please?
Oh yeah, I didn't even
Go ahead,
see you there.
Harriet.
You can
Yeah.
go. Why don't you do it, Harriet?
You forgot to change the time on the slide to 6:30,
Okay, we'll update that.
okay? The important thing about this meeting is that we want to hear from as many different people as possible on different subjects as possible. This is not a time to present an application, but just to let the CPC know that you will probably be filing one and what your concerns are. Thank you.
Thank you, Harriet. All right. So this one is of interest as of today. So is Rich with us, or Steve?
Yeah, Rich is not with us
Okay.
tonight, but I can fill you in. And so basically, it's the mattress and textile waistbands. Like I said, it's effective today. And so now to dispose of mattresses, you can no longer put them in the landfills. They got to be recycled and down into their components, so the various materials can be reused for different purposes. So now they're not going to be picked up in front of the house anymore. So you have to bring them down to the DPW station at no charge, and they have a bin set up there, and they'll take the mattresses for you.
And those mattresses go to a specialized recycling center. Saw on the news today that Massachusetts disposed of 600,000 mattresses last year. So it has become a real landfill problem. So this will get them recycled into components. All right.
All right. Good. So a few updates. Well, first off, would like to congratulate Kate Mallory on recently, she just completed her certificate for the fundamentals for conservation commissioners. It's a certificate training program that they offer. So basically what this says, it really shows her commitment. It was a series of 8 modules, so it was pretty intensive. It shows her commitment to the field, and also, demonstrates that she has the knowledge and tools essential to carrying out the responsibility of the administration of the Wetlands Protective Act and for open space planning and protection. So, we appreciate her going through this training. Definitely, it's an asset to the town. I just want to congratulate her for this achievement.
Hey, congratulations, Kate.
And a further update. So we're in full swing for the budget process. We wrapped up departmental meetings on Monday. So now we're finishing compiling the information that we received from the departments. A big thank you to the departments who were involved. They were really helpful and made the data collection very easy. It was they were great to work with. So right now we set our sights on the November 15th financial overview meeting that we'll be hosting joint with the Finance Committee. So we'll be compiling this data and presenting an update on the budget, where it stands, as well as some forecasting figures and some benchmarking metrics, utilizing some of the ICMA and International City Managers Association financial indicators for the town. We just finished this afternoon our first draft of the 5-year capital plan, so that is looking good. You know, we have the data now. Now we're building out the document. We just signed the collective bargaining unit for the DPW and admin, and that's ready for the select board to come into the office and sign. We're currently in active negotiations with the fire union, police union, and library union, working very hard to try to get this wrapped up, you know, in time that we can include the economic impacts into the budget process. And then the survey, the ARPA survey. So I just want to give an update on that. We got about 110 responses, which I thought was pretty good. And you know, the survey seemed to be you know, we got a lot of feedback from it, that it was very easy to use and well laid out. So I don't know if the board had any questions or comments on that. I know we had picked a day tentatively to close the survey last night, but it is still live and active. You know, we're entertaining extending that deadline.
So Steve, one of my thoughts is we should put that on the town Facebook page and get that out there. If you could send us the proper links to it. Because I'm going to go to a whole bunch of people and ask them to do it.
All right, we did
Okay.
put it. It is on the town's Facebook page, I believe. Michelle, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we can bump that back up. We'll also push the link out on our other social media avenues, like at least we're limited in characters for the description, but at least get the link out there.
That'd be great.
And how long? I don't know if the board wants to, we'll touch base again next meeting, or do we want to set a deadline to close the survey?
What do you think, Diane?
Well, I think 110 is not really a great number. I'm sure it's sort of good. It's like 15% voter turnout in my mind. So I'd like to maybe try to promote it a little bit more. I have pushed it. I've emailed it out to people. I mean, it's a super easy thing to do. So I'd love to see more people, but I don't know how much longer we want to keep it up there. So it's up to you guys.
Why don't we? How about I'll just suggest we'll do another round of social media posts, and maybe put something up on the signboard, to kind of come to the town website and take a look, and we'll just revisit at the next meeting, and you guys can make the decision whether to close it then or push it out again.
Yeah, why don't we see how many we get over the next week? I mean, if it's onesies and twosies, then maybe it's time to say that's the response we're going to get. But hopefully we'll get a lot more people to participate if we push it out to social media once more time.
And then at least leave it up through this weekend.
Yes, yes.
Right. And those are all the updates I have for you this evening.
All right. So I've got two coming back from being the representative on the Master Planning Advisory Committee. The committee members are deep into the revision on the existing conditions draft, and a long document currently over 180 pages. So working on that, and I think we'll be moving November, December, starting into the second phase with the contractor. The other item is, I think it started yesterday or today. So your utility bills are jumping, 60% on electricity and 20% on natural gas. So there is, for those residents that need assistance, you can check in with Jim Reynolds at the COA or at Town Hall and see if you qualify for the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, which is run by the state of Massachusetts. So there's some income limits on that, but it is a program that's available to our Wenham residents if you need assistance. Peter, too, you want to give just a quick blurb, Wish can help out this winter as well.
Yeah, I keep reaching out to them and they don't come back to me.
All right,
So,
let's see if we get it going then. All right, then Diane, anything for us?
I don't think I do. No,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Peter?
I think, it's all about water and, Eric's gonna present a little later. Sorry about my dogs.
Yes. All right. Your motion then, Peter? Muted.
Peter Clay moves to approve the Wenham Select Board open session meeting minutes of October 18th, 2022.
Second,
Any further questions, comments on it? Otherwise, the roll call vote. Peter?
Yes,
Diane?
yes.
Gary, yes. Thank you. All right, so Steve, do you have this one or you're muted?
Sorry. Yeah, I'll do this one. It's pretty straightforward. So evidently, Hamilton, Wenham institutes a parking ban that's generally in effect from November 2nd through March 31st of every year. So that is tomorrow. So effective November 2nd, 2022 through March 31st, 2023, no vehicles may be parked on town streets for more than an hour from midnight to 6 a.m. Between this date, this applies all winter, whether snow is predicted or not. And I believe the board has to make a motion to essentially implement the ban for this year.
okay.
All right. So I move to approve the Wenham winter parking ban effective November 2nd, 2022 through March 31st, 2023.
I second.
Any questions or comments? Otherwise,
I guess they
Roll call
don't think
vote?
it
Okay.
snows in April.
well, hopefully not. Have to be, it has before, so,
It has.
so roll call vote. Peter?
Yes,
Diane?
Yes.
Gary, yes. Thank you on that one. On to B. Do we have anybody on board to talk to this one?
I do not believe that we do.
All right. So,
So I guess the request is came in at the Friends of Bucher School is requesting to use Pingree Park for a fundraising photo shoot. I believe this permission has been given in the past, but inappropriately by I believe the school committee. So this came on our radar, and we clarified that really the select board needs to be granting use of this property. So this is it's all on the up and up and nonprofit and all of that. So if the select board would make a motion to approve if it agrees with this use.
any comments? Otherwise, the motion, Diane?
I move to approve that the Friends of Bucher School. I move to approve the Friends of Bucher School's use of Pingree Park on November 6th, 2022 from 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. for the fundraising photo shoot.
I second.
Anything further? Otherwise, vote.
So it
Whoop,
looks,
sorry.
it looks from the information that we have that they did do it last year and it was very well organized and well put together. I just feel like maybe we should make sure the police are aware or that this will be going on because there might be traffic. There might be something going on there.
Will do.
Thanks.
All right, the vote then. Peter?
Yes,
Diane?
Yes.
Gary, yes. All right, so Eric Mansfield's with us tonight. Steve?
Yes, he is.
All right. So Eric, over to you for your slideshow.
Okay, so I'll give you a little history first. Back in the late '90s, early 2000s, the watershed groups and the municipalities that are in the Ipswich watershed basin, they ended up in lawsuits against each other. One fighting for the withdrawal of water, one fighting to stop the withdrawal of water, and it really put a rift between everybody, and basically end up with people not talking to each other. And so when we got back in the mid 2010s, when we were in a drought again, Senator Tar and Representative Spaliotis got together to try to get everybody together to start a talk about how we're going to combat drought in the future, instead of everybody being on opposite sides. And so that started in 2016. I've been going to those meetings since, and those meetings have turned into what is now the drought task force. And we've ended up, everybody ended up signing an agreement that basically will put everything else aside. We'll all work together so that in the future, when we do run into a drought situation, we'll have a plan in place to be able to supply water to the residents in the North Shore.
Are
The,
you slightly optimistic, Eric?
Yeah, I think the feeling between everybody that was in, I mean, there was a lot of people involved with this, and we may all not agree on the reason for climate change, but we can all agree that there is climate change, and we do need to look down the road that when you start losing wells, or you don't have the groundwater supply, that we may have to look at the potential to have Beverly Salem put a new reservoir in, or even use the MWRA as a source for water for our area.
so we should point out that this agreement not only includes the towns within the watershed, but some of the major localities like Beverly and Salem, and I think Lynn and Peabody, that are actually outside of the watershed but draw on it.
They're in the watershed. Not all of them do draw from the watershed anymore, and they are on MWRA partly. So it's very broad. We try to, there is the main contributors to this are going to be people who are in the Ipswich watershed basin, and we wanted to include everybody who may have a hand in trying to get to our making it happen, that we could get the water supply we needed, which is going to be on a state level, because just the ability to get water up Route 1, or however we need to get it this way, is going to be a big undertaking. It'll very costly.
So that in common terms, that's essentially linking us up to the Quabbin Reservoir that Boston uses. Is that the big possible plan?
That is one possibility.
Peter, this is your subject.
Well, Eric can probably explain to you why Beverly and Salem they signed up for something like 100 years ago, which allows them to just use water like crazy. And the hope is that we can get them to moderate their usage and maybe share some of the water that they have. I found it interesting. I asked Eric the question about, is Gordon College getting water from Beverly Salem? And they are. So, I mean, they have the piping already there. And then we have Hull Street, Parsons Hill, and the houses on the east side of 128. So it just seems that, I mean, they have the water, and it's actually supplying parts of the very eastern part of Wenham. So I think with the whole Gordon College trying to sell that property, we can't supply them the water. I think that's fair, Eric. If they put 350 units up there. But we'd have to pay for water from Beverly and Salem Water Supply, and it's already at the college. So we'll just see.
Very well, Diane?
Yes, thanks, Eric. Who runs the meetings and how many communities are actually involved?
So it's been coordinated through Senator Tarr's office. And I don't have it in front of me to look up the how many communities are. There's the 19 that are in the watershed, and then a whole lot of other communities in this, and also watershed groups, other groups that are involved with it too. So it's very broad. And what was the second part of the question?
So those are the two questions. And so how often do you meet, and is it just discussion or?
No, so we signed this charter agreement, which basically said that everybody's gonna, put other stuff beside, to the side. We're all gonna work together to come up with a solution. And there's basically a 6 to 10 year plan to try to, work on funding, work on solutions. And up till now, we've been meeting basically once, maybe twice a year. But now that this is in place, I did reach out to to Senator Tarr's office. They are supposed to be putting a press release together, which they haven't done yet. So once the press release is done, there was a small article that was in the Salem News about it, but there will be an official press release coming from Senator Tarr's office.
Okay, that's great. Well, keep our fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
Got to
I think
find
it's-
some sort of solution.
Yeah, I think it's great that, everybody we just need to work together to find out, what we can do in the future.
I think everyone needs to understand. I think, maybe the Beverly, the other larger cities that just use water, unlike we do, they don't really understand that they're affecting everybody. From what I see, when I talk to people in Beverly, they don't see the connection yet. So it's a lot of education, I think.
Yeah, so I went to lunch with through a friend who lives in Beverly. I went to lunch with Jerry Paracello and Sally Cairns. Sally Cairns gets it because Danvers has problems. Jerry, not so much. Because the people he represents or used to represent, they were very happy with their water situation. Now he's going to pick up East Wenham, and he's going to have a small group of people who are going to be very unhappy with the water situation. So,
East Wenham, is that what you said is supplied by Beverly though?
Just the very tip out there. So
Okay.
the new
Gordo.
precinct is basically Main Street East. So,
Right.
and our water system, right, Eric, essentially ends at Rubley Road, Route
Yeah,
22.
the Gusset Road, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Great.
Obviously more to come.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for the information tonight.
You're
Anything
welcome.
else from Diana, Peter?
Thank you.
thank
Right.
you.
Both Mansfields today.
Thanks.
All right, so working with Senator Tarr's office, we corrected the 3 to 5 member language, which was, I guess, originally drawn off the minutes rather than the videotape. So we are just voting here to recertify the wording that's proceeding through the legislature. Any questions on this, Diane or Peter?
I don't, but do we have the language that we could just share or quickly read? Should it, once we get the act approval and the vote at the next town meeting, what happens after that? If
And
everything goes well?
then you have after the town meeting vote, you have the election within the 90 days.
Right, so this is what I wanted to see.
Right.
Mhm. So do you want to read that? Because I don't think anyone watching
Okay.
would be able to read it,
All
but
right,
so basically, as you said, we get the approval from the court, the general court. It'll go on the ballot ideally. Oh, there it goes. Ideally in April. If that's positive, then we would have another election within 90-day period. And that the following election would say something that disappeared. I think Steve's playing with his
Yeah.
computer.
so the main points are town meeting, election after, within 90 days, and then the two additional select board members, one would be for a 2-year term and the other for a 3-year term. Those two elections proceed as separate on the ballot.
Those two races proceed as separate on one election.
That's right.
So if the ballot question authorized by section 2 of this act shall be approved, the select board shall immediately call for a special election not later than 90 days after such approval. The two new offices of select board members shall appear on the ballot separately, with one being for a term of 3 years and the other being a term of 2 years. Provided, however, that the term of the candidate elected to the 3-year term at the special election pursuant to this act shall expire upon the election and qualification of a successor at the 2026 annual town meeting. And provided further that the term of the candidate elected to the 2-year term at the special election pursuant to this act shall expire upon election and qualification of a successor at the 2025 annual town election. So many extra words.
Well, and that essentially what that just says is that although we're calling a 3-year term, it actually only runs to election day, April of the year.
Which makes perfect sense.
Right.
And then, so the only other thing that was concerning to our town council was that only one person can only be in one of those races. So once whoever out there decides that they would like to run for the additional seats on the select board member, should all things go in the positive vein, you need to decide if you would like to run for the 3-year term or the 2-year term. You can't do both.
All right. Anything, Peter?
Nope, looks good to me.
All right. So Michelle, if you can put the motion slide back up.
So I move that the select board certify the updated language for the special act relating to the select board increasing from 3 to 5 members.
I second.
Anything further? Otherwise, roll call vote. Peter,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes,
Gary, yes. Complete. And we should say thank you to Senator Tarr's office for all the assistance they've been giving on this. All right, so last thing here, a review of the schedule for us. So hopefully everybody's getting out to vote. We have the state election on November 8th. The next select board meeting is November 15th. After that, we have the 5 committee mass meeting on the 30th of November. That's the 2 FinComs, the 2 select boards, and the school committee.
that's on a Wednesday, correct?
Yes, on a Wednesday,
Okay.
the 30th.
Mhm.
Then we have the select board meeting on December 6th. We have the our own massive budget Saturday meeting on the 10th. And then the last scheduled select board meeting for the year will be on December 20th. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Right. So going back to the 15th, So we have several long things, so plan an extended meeting on the 15th. So the first thing is an executive session and checking the availability to start at 5:30 or 6. Diane and Peter?
I'm fine.
So I just might have a small glitch in my schedule. Manchester, we have a special town meeting on the 14th, which they think might go 2 nights, which would then
Right.
be the 15th, just so you know.
All right. But otherwise, can you start at 5:30 or 6?
Yes, yep, I can.
Right. 5:30 good for you, Peter?
Yes.
Okay. Then Steve, you got that 5:30 for the exec session, 6:30 for the normal session. And the normal session will take quite a bit because back me up, Steve, we have initial budget presentations. We have tax classification
Mm.
and a couple of other,
Longfellow is the other big
yeah,
item.
Longfellow Road final decisions on the betterments. So plan accordingly, I guess.
Do you want to do 5:30 or 6, Gary? Is it? For the executive?
5:30 is good.
5:30, I think, for the exec session.
Yep.
All right. And do we want to just roll right into open session, or do you want to?
Yes, yes. yeah.
So we won't set a time, roughly 6 o'clock,
Right.
6:30, somewhere in there. Okay.
All right. Additions, Peter?
None.
All right. Diane?
No, me neither. It's good.
All right. Very well. So a fairly short one tonight, but lengthy one coming up. So
All right.
thank you, Catherine. You got all the minutes you need?
All set. Thank you,
All
Gary.
right. And thank you, Michelle, and the staff that presented tonight. All right. So Peter, your motion, if you're ready.
Yep. With nothing left to further discuss, I move that we adjourn the November 1st, 2022 Select Board meeting at 7:09 PM.
Is there a
Oh,
second?
I'm sorry, second.
Anything
second.
further? Otherwise, thought we were going to be stuck there for a minute. All right. Roll call vote. Peter?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Gary, yes. Thank you all for
Thank you.
attending, and let's get out and vote.
Take care.
Good night.
Have a good night.